Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks and another random destruction, slightly shorter one tonight than normal. And we're starting off in the Nashorn. It's a tier 6 match, which is nice, and it's an encounter battle here on winter tundra. Now, something I did forget to say in the review of the IS-3A yesterday is that you do have to be in a Soviet vehicle to qualify for those drops. I did forget about that, so I do apologise. But back to this one. Well, the Nashorn. I did have this a few months ago, I think. A couple of 3 months ago, maybe. And I got rid of it because I was sort of going down quite a few different lines at the time, wanting to concentrate on something, and I just got a bit fed up with the Nashorn and ended up getting rid of it and thinking, do you know what, I'll rebuy it some other time and carry on down that line towards the Waffle Dragon. Now, the call of the Waffle Dragon has grown too strong, so I think I'm going to finish that line off. So I rebought the Nashorn, put a crew in it. Unfortunately, I didn't quite have, well, I didn't plan for it very well, so I didn't overtrain the crew, unfortunately, so I am still training them up. I think they're about 80%, something like that in this match. And I just thought I'd go out and try and get the daily double done. I'm not overly far off the Sture meal, so I've not got long to go. So I think I'm probably going to have to run this crew in a couple of premiums to try and get them. Try and get them overtrained to put in the Sture meal, because it is quite frustrating running them with a sort of untrained, not an untrained, but not 100% crew, should I say. But it's been very, very kind to me on the matchmaking in this match. And I'm sort of making my way along the southern edge of the map towards the cap. And as you can see on the map there, there's quite a good portion of the enemy team, probably, what, about a third of it, that have made a push, well, towards the cap. They were in it, but it looks like they're just sort of driving through. No, it looks like a tank destroyer might have stayed in there. Did manage to get a hit on that T-37, not T-37, T-67. Then I took a hit from that light tank. Put a big hit into him though, because he's a low tier. And I'm going to see if I can take out this Capture KV-1. There we go. Now the Nashorn, it's I've got it fully upgraded, like I said, I had it before. So I've just put the top package straight back on it, and it's a long 88, so 203 pen, 240 average damage. I think it's about 9.5 rounds a minute in this, possibly. Although I might have got that slightly wrong. It might be a bit less than that. But it has, no armour to speak of. I think it's around 20 mil thickest, something like that. It's not. If it's not 20 mil, it's not much. It's not far off that really. It's no armour to speak of. Let's just leave it at that. And it is a true glass cannon, like most of the tanks down this line. To be honest, most of the tank destroyers. You've got the Death Toaster before this one at tier 5. That's a glass cannon, no armour again. Sture meal after this, again, basically no armour, big gun. And so on and so forth. In fact, I think the only one that really does have any armour is the Waffle Dragon itself, but that's only on the hull. The whole big, gun shield turret, if you will, on top is very, very weak, but the hull is fairly strong. It's not too savage, I think, from what I remember. It is, I think it is the E100 hull, but without the side skirts, and the E100, it's the side skirts that really give it a lot of its strength, that big chunk of spaced armour down the side. Now, we've managed to push them out of cap between us, and I was going to go up to the top corner, but then I'd seen that medium come round behind. We've got, I think it's a KV-1, tier 5 heavy, in the cap, and he's struggling a little bit against this tier 6 medium, so span it around and came back to try and give him a hand. So I've taken the pressure off him a bit, and looking back, I don't think I had to be as cautious as I am doing here. I could have afforded to take a hit, definitely, and put another shot into him, but the KV-1 survived, and I was just waiting for him to turn the turret away from me before I came back over, but I think I was playing that a bit overcautious at this stage in the game. I could have, like I say, definitely afforded to take a hit from him. And now all that's left, we've got a heavy and arty, and I think it's a VK3601H. Yep, there we go. And, a little arty. Now I can't quite get a hit on him. He's popping back and forwards behind that banking. And there is... Just wait for the aim. Nope. I've not got any equipment on this either yet. So, it's one of those things. I think if I'd have got a bit of equipment on it, I probably would have aimed a bit quicker and taken the shot. But as it happens, I managed to come up over here and get rid of the artillery. That takes a bit more pressure off those guys over there, because they're not going to take arty shells in the back. And I can take a shot which misses and just hits his gun and damages that. And I think between them, they're probably going to finish him off any second now. There we go. He's done. I think it was the OI. Yeah, it was. The OI took him out.
Mission accomplished.
There you go. Not a bad match. I was quite fortunate to get my daily double on the first go out in it, which was quite nice. Just over 2,000 damage done. I mean, there was a certain expectation for me to do quite well in that match because, let's face it, you know, I was top tier and there were not many tier 6s in there. And we got tier 4s as well, so, you know, it was a nice victory. It wasn't any particular great achievement, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not sort of belittling coming up at the top there, but, it, you know, like I say, there was a certain expectation with it being such good matchmaking. In fact, that's probably the best matchmaking I've had for a while, actually. That was very, very kind. Now, this one's not too bad either. I'm in the WZ-120, the Tier 9 Chinese medium tank. I really do like this tank. It's got a 122mm gun, fully upgraded. 5 rounds a minute, 249 pen, 440 average damage. It does have a couple of downsides, though. It's got a god-awful aiming time at 3.5 seconds. Well, 3.4 seconds. So yeah, not brilliant there, and virtually no gun depression to speak of. I think it's 3 degrees, if I remember rightly. I know, I think it was the tier 10 medium got an extra half a degree of gun depression added to it in the last update, but I don't think this did. I think this one is still 3 degrees. But it's got decent hull traverse at 46 degrees. Decent turret traverse as well at 42, and the turret armour is quite nice. 220 on the front, 160 on the side, 65 on the rear. And your hull armour, well, it's 100 on the front, 80 sides, 45 rear. And I think, according to the blurb, this was sort of... I think this is possibly the proper name for the Type 59, although obviously this gets a stronger turret and gun. Or it was might have been a sort of an attempt to up armour and sort of up gun the Type 59. I can't quite remember from the blurb. But anyway, Tier 9 Chinese tank. Yeah, Tier 9. I really like it. I've not got to the Tier 9 Soviets yet. I know it does get compared to them quite a bit. But this gets a slower rate of fire but much more damage and pen than the T-54. I think it is the Tier 9 Soviet one. Now this LTTB, and this is that gun depression, or lack of it, should I say. I've just got to keep moving forward to actually get a shot. I don't really want to miss him because the reload is fairly lengthy, and it was just getting the shot quite right with him moving about. So that gun depression can be a bit of an issue, but if you really don't mind sort of compensating for it, and you really don't mind that lack of gun depression, this is a pretty damn good medium tank. And this is the first time I've been in it for a week or two, I think. Possibly. No, I think I went in it last week, but this is the best match I've had in it for a while. Probably a good couple of weeks. And you've just got to account for that lack of gun depression and try and put yourself in a position where it's really not going to be an issue. But here on Heilbronn, in this encounter match, I've come down the eastern side of the map, sweeping round. The heavies have, they did head off towards the town and sort of a bit more of a direct route towards the cap, and I thought, with me being a medium, well, I'll do what mediums do and come flanking around here. And I took a bounce from something up there, I'm not quite sure what. And I can't get a shot at E75 again. I did put one into him as he went past. And I wonder if it was possibly the Black Prince that shot at me. Anyway, what I'm wanting to do here is basically come around this side, try and use the terrain. And for those of you that are experienced medium tank drivers, you know, you'll know this sort of stuff. You've got to try and use the terrain to hide your tank and flank around and sneak up on people. And for those of you that are sort of newer to the game or newer to medium tanks, there you go. That's what you've got to try and do. And I also had the feeling that possibly there might be somebody coming this way trying to flank us. So it was kind of fortuitous that I decided to come around just at that moment and catch the T-32. If I'd have been coming around a bit sooner, I might have been out in the open and taken a bit more damage than I have. If I'd have come around a bit later, they might have been in a better position. But as it happens, I've got myself in a decent position here against these Jagdpanther and T-32. I'm mostly bouncing the shots, although was that HE that he just fired at me then? It could have been. But I've done quite a bit of damage to the T-32, and I was just waiting and hoping, well, I think if my timing's right, I should have dropped off radar then. I know the T-32 had, and the Jagdpanther might have been spotted by this other medium coming up here. So I'm going to use this dip over on this side and the raised ground on my right to try and sneak around on them again. Well, not sneak around on them again, but sneak around on them. And try not to reveal myself until the very last moment, which is about here. Now, let's see if I can get that T-32 in the turret. The gun depression was being a bit of an issue there, otherwise I would have gone for the side of the hull. And who am I going to see first around here? The Jagdpanther? Yep, there we go. Put one straight through, that's half his health gone. But he's managed to track me and do a bit more damage. My track's up, so I'll just back up, wait for the reload, and yep, you're done. And again, I don't claim to be any great expert on medium tank driving, but it's, you know, some of it seems really simple and obvious, but sometimes people just don't think about it, or they sort of in more of a mindset of driving heavy tanks because that's all they've been driving so far, or they might just be new to the game. But yeah, just use the terrain as best you can. Use the lower ground, and you know, with these faster mediums, because this is quite nippy, you can use that lower ground to try and hide yourself and, you know, just flank around, surprise people, sneak up on them, like this poor old STI here. And now from here, hopefully, although I am taking a bit of a risk looking back at this because there is an RT in play and I am spotted, so sitting up there might not have been the best idea. Just waiting for that poor aim, but the T-34 gets taken out before I can even aim at him. But we've got a T-29 down here making his way towards the cap. I'm in a good position to put some shots in. Something spotted me, possibly him. More than likely him. I'm not too worried. It's a fair old distance away from me, and this does have fairly decent armour on the front, especially those sort of ranges. Definitely against sort of tier 7s at that sort of range. With a bit of angling, it's got very good frontal armour. Now we're down to the last the last 4 tanks, artillery included in there. And I was just wondering if one of those guys behind me was possibly going to go off and look for RT. And it looks like, well, it looked like that medium was, but then he's decided to, I think, turn around and follow us again. Now I've managed to sneak up on, well, not sneak up, but I managed to come round behind this T-54E1. And he's in a bad place there. Definitely. He's caught in a crossfire from up on the hill and from us coming in from the south. And that's the KV-5 putting shots in at me from up there. There he is. They had a buff to the turret recently, and at this range, I'm not sure if that would actually pen. So I was just checking if there was anywhere that it'd changed colour on the reticle, that I'd have a bit more of a chance of penning from that distance. But he popped back into cover, so now it's that time in the match where everybody's going to rush in and try and take this guy out because, well, we've got the advantage of numbers. Now, I was still quite surprised that nobody went over looking for RT. And I kind of wish I'd have gone and done it myself now. and gone and had a look for him. Managed to get a good hit into the KV-5 and set him on fire. But then the game's over. And I was more than happy with that one. That was the, again, I just jumped in it to try and get the daily double done. And that was the first match I went in, and it was quite a nice matchmaking spread for me. And quite a nice match all in all. So I came up with that with a high caliber, first class mastery, just over 5,100 damage done, which is quite nice. I think that's my highest damage in that tank. So yeah, really happy with that one, and I do like that tank. Definitely recommend the higher tier Chinese mediums if you do like your mediums. But there you go. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's episode, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. So until then, take care out there, and I will catch you next time. See you later.